Aha, welcome back to our pre-Evo 2015 Super Show. Let's now move on to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah.
And for that, we have Honzogonzo.
That's right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
God, you guys are awkward. What the fuck? Alright,
So we wanted to bring you on because Viscant wouldn't do it, and
Yeah, we were forced. We were forced, dude.
Yeah, no. Anyway,
you got the other white guy? What?
there's only so many.
There's only two.
We wanted to talk about players to watch. We want to talk about storylines to follow. If there's anything new or interesting going on, sort of whatever you want to talk about with that regard.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just came off of Curly Mustache. It happened like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of SoCal come out and compete. There was a few internationals. We had Abekin there, and it was really cool to see a bunch of variety. I think the tone of this Evo is going to be variety. So we had Chun-Li players, and we've had Chun-Li's in the past with Shadow Rusher. There were Thor players, and even at HoloCon, there was 3 Thor players in that goddamn bracket.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane, even for, like a 20, 30-man bracket. Have 3 Thor players. And we've seen a lot more Modocs. We had Priest showing up and doing really well as Royal Flush.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had Flash Metroid do jamming bomb loops at CEO.
Okay.
A lot of variety we're seeing. Now, that's not to say, man, Marvel's such a different game. You're going to see all these crazy characters. Fuck that. Zero's still really good. Virgil's still really good. Magneto's still really good. You're still going to see all these players dominate with those characters.
Right.
But it's just going to be a bit more...
Well, what do you think the reason is, then, to have more character variety?
So, as time goes on, there's more tech. More tech that comes out, the less it matters. I guess it, stratifies the tiers a little bit.
Yeah.
Because... if you just kill a character, their neutral game doesn't fucking matter when they come in. That's why I think Virgil, and I was talking about this at HoloCon, Virgil sometimes is just a detriment to your cast, because when he's on the incoming, he has no defensive options. He'll just die. So if, a Firebrand's on the team, that's just a free character.
Right.
Or even, a Wolverine with a strong mix-up, anyone that, can just kill a character on incoming just destroys Virgil. So sometimes having Virgil as anchor is bad. And you need to put him on point, in my opinion. I think Virgil point is super strong, and I'll get to that in a bit.
Cool.
So there's a bunch of storylines. I'm breaking it down to regions. So Marvel's region-based. It's really region-based. No one cares much about specific players to an extent. It's more about regions.
Interesting.
So we just had CEO, which showcased Florida's best. Most of Florida came out.
Right.
Full Schedule took it, which was his first major win, and he hasn't had a really big showing since final round because he doesn't travel that much. He only goes to the southern tournaments. So him winning that is a really big statement, and he's been traveling to the other southern regionals that they've been having and doing pretty well, even winning a couple.
Mm-hmm.
So Full Schedule with his crazy Viper and his cheater hitbox buttons. Just doing really well, and his Doom Ammy. I'm the biggest Full Schedule fanboy because I play Doom Ammy.
So here's a question: is it? We're clear this year, right? His joystick is legal at Evo or not?
Yes, it has to be legal because I think it was legal last.
I believe it was.
Okay.
The problem with final round was that Shin Blanca felt it was unfair that the inputs he had on his stick. You couldn't map in the game.
Right.
So he had up forward, for
Right.
example. Mm-hmm. So we thought that was unfair, which is fair. It's a fair.
Right. Yeah.
And then out of Florida, we also have Mix-Up. So Mix-Up is the most mysterious dude in the world.
Because I remember a lot of people were like, he's so good, and but he's never been on stream and everything like that. And then
so we've all heard the Apology Mans talk about Mix-Up and how he's the best player in the world and how he made him a grilled cheese sandwich. So Mix-Up is the enigma, and apparently he's an old school player, and people have said that he's good at Marvel too. I don't know. I was born 5 years ago, so
pretty much.
Mix-Up, he came out and got bodied by Kinder Party.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, Mix-Up's coming to Evo, and he's looking to take names, so, whatever. If you get bodied by Kinder Party, I don't think you're making it out.
Good luck. Yeah.
Just Kinder Party, I love him.
For sure.
Alright, so, moving on to East Coast. East Coast looking a little shaky recently.
Really?
Interesting. Okay.
They've been outside of Flux. It's been looking a little doubtful. But then again, at Evo, they always show up and usually have a couple in top 8. Flux, of course, is super dominant, almost in contention to being considered a god.
Really?
Because he just places. He used to win tournaments left and right. Lately, he hasn't been placing at final round. He didn't even crack top 8. CEO, he only got 4th.
Okay.
And he didn't travel out to NCR, I believe.
He did win something recently, didn't he? He won was it Texas Showdown or something like that?
I only count majors. So
okay.
No, I was kidding. Yeah, I
AKA he doesn't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
But Ray, of course, made top 8 last year, and he's always in contention for making top 8.
Right.
Great showings.
Right.
And just a great overall player coming out of there. Coach Steve made top 8 last year in an upset, and it was one of the big stories of that top 8. He got eliminated by Ray in a heartbreaking match.
Right.
So we'll see if he tries to repeat that. I don't think he's been doing that well in the big majors. I don't think he's made top 8 once. Okay. So we'll see if he can bring it out for Evo. Evo is one of those tournaments where even if you sucked all year, you could still just get top 8 because you're just so good, because you just leveled up that fast or you had a good bracket. Good players, mid-tier players will just excel sometimes.
Right. You can also just have a really good weekend. It happens a lot of times.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ifrit got 2nd place. We all need to remember this.
Right.
But that's happened at a few of the Marvel 3 Evos where people who nobody expected to make top 8 got top 8.
Right.
Yeah. Every year it happens. So, if
in
you're a
every
Marvel player,
game too, so yeah.
You have a chance. You got a chance to win the big bucks, aka none. Anyways, so Midwest has been leveling up.
Well, actually, before we go to Midwest, wasn't there recently there was a new player in the East Coast? Not new, but
Cosmos. I forgot.
Cosmos, yeah. The new Morgan Doom.
So Cosmos is the best player in the history of Marvel. Okay, so he doesn't play the game at all, and he just wins everything.
Okay.
According to him, he's the biggest.
Oh, really? That's what he says?
Dude.
Okay.
In the world.
Okay.
Huh.
So, he won a couple. He won that curly mustache, I believe, and then he won or got 2nd at one of the Philly tournaments.
Right.
So he's got a big head on his shoulder, and I don't know. I didn't see him. Nerd Josh put out a list on his Twitter. If you want to go at Nerd Josh of all the relevant pools, I didn't see him listed unless he's under a different name.
Oh, wow.
Nerd Josh didn't see him.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's coming. So if he is there, though, I think he'll do pretty well. He is a good player. Joking aside, he plays Morgan. If you play Morgan, you can't be bad, in my opinion. Right. So, he's gonna shoot the fireballs and probably get top 32.
Okay.
Moving on to Midwest. We have Midwest leveling up a bit recently. I saw them at CEO. I was hanging out with them, and they were doing 1,000 times better than they've ever done, I think, ever.
Okay.
So I think they might be a force, like a dark force. Force.
Like who are we talking about?
Dual Kevin, mostly, the Deadpool player.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He's the Deadpool Dante Hawkeye. I saw him do really well, and even Frankie G was OCV-ing teams in the team tournament.
Oh, good stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're leveling up slowly.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
And we'll see how they do at Evo. Evo's the most random tournament in the world. So,
it's
too many people.
Yeah, it's hard to get through 900 people.
Yeah.
Going down to Texas, Jan and Terry.
Terry Bogard.
Terry Bogard, sorry, yes. Are both of the premier players out of the South, I think. Jan, of course, we saw as CEO, and he's a legend in fighting games, playing Potemkin.
Sure.
Doing super well, and his defense is just top notch. That's why he excels so much with that team. I think with that team you have to have a good defense. But there's a Hulk, Haggers, Shuma,
yes. Shuma.
All right, and then Terry Bogard, of course, with the Morgan Dante Strider.
Yeah.
He hasn't been to a lot of tournaments, but almost every tournament he's been to, he's either placed 2nd or top 8. He does super well at every tournament he places in. And Terry Bogard's kind of infamous for being an online scrub in the first 3 years of Marvel. He used to just play online and then just send hate messages and just shit talk you.
Wow, that's awesome.
And just troll the fuck out of you. And Drew Grimy hates the guy because he just sends him constant hate messages. And then you meet him in real life and he's just like this dorky dude.
It's always like that.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, like, look at me.
I know. Yeah, you're prime example.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say there was that one event that they put on a long time ago where some unknown online trash talker Honzogonzo came in and got second place, and
Yeah.
So.
A long time ago, my youth.
Yeah, back in your youth. Yeah.
Out of Seattle, Seattle's a pretty strong region now. Kyle P. He showed up at Curly Mustache and did pretty well.
Yeah, I saw it.
I think he's a dark horse just for the fact that he plays like a madman. He doesn't care. Like he's out for blood and just does shit. And
who does he use?
Uses Spencer. I just forgot his entire team. Spencer definitely. Yes.
Some expert that we got. No, it's all good. Okay. Well, who else from Seattle?
The chat will get me. Anyways, Jabril. Jabril is a player that I don't think people have heard of outside of Northwest Majors. Spencer Doom Virgil's Calpe's team. Okay. Jabril is a Zero May Cry player, and he's 15 years old. He was 14 at Northwest Majors, and he got top 8.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he is super good. He eliminated me, meaning he's the best player in the world.
Wow, that's
right.
impressive.
No, that's a lot of work. Right
Somebody
there.
so much younger than you managed to pull that off. Crazy.
I knew I was over the hill, and it was just Jabril is super good. You'll see him probably. I think he's gonna crack top 32, and this is gonna be his first Evo. And I think Northwest Majors was his first big tournament.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty impressive for him to be doing this well, and I think he's gonna do well because he's just a solid player, and he got top 8 at Combo Breaker as well.
Oh,
awesome.
dang. Okay.
Yeah, so he's got some notches under his belt.
Yeah.
So he's traveling a lot for 14 years old, then, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean for 14, traveling anywhere I think is a big deal.
Yeah, that's really
true,
cool.
yeah.
That's super cool. So.
And then we're going to go to the best region, NorCal. GC Yoshi, of course, had a great showing last year at EVO. Stand-essing people and placing pretty well.
Do you remember how far he got?
I think he got 9th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he got 9th or the place below 9th.
Okay.
And, he's the Chris player that everyone loves. And I think he's going to do pretty well. He didn't come to HottoCon, so I don't know what his current state is. But we'll see at EVO. Filipino Champ is kind of a mystery at the moment because he is streaming even right now, I think, on FGTV Live.
Right.
But he hasn't really shown up to tournaments outside of, I think, final round.
Right, yeah, he hasn't been traveling. In fact, he was slated for Curly Mustache, and he didn't end up going, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He won final round. But other than that, he hasn't really been going places. And, Filipino Champ has been known to just travel and do super well, consistent.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he is at EVO. He's playing a lot with a bunch of the internationals and even out-of-towners that are coming in for EVO, like Flux, Angelic, Avian.
So he still has been keeping it up, he just hasn't been traveling?
Yeah, so from what I can tell.
Okay.
But we'll see if that affects him at all. Champ's been in every top 8 at EVO.
Right.
So he has a reputation of being in top 8 and doing super well. So
I mean, he won one year, right? So.
And of course, Apology Man's always the talk of the town whenever people see him because everyone thinks he's super cheap. He is super dominant in neutral, which I think is important. That you're going to be seeing. Like Firebrand neutral is just super hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so oppressive sometimes. And but there has been, I guess, like a movement to basically figure out how to get out of the Stroll Firebrand shenanigans.
Have people actually figured out a way to get out of that?
There's been, if you have an air dash with certain characters, you can get out of it pretty easily if you time the air dash correctly to go in between the scroll hits, I believe.
Huh. Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so there are ways you can get out of it, but I mean, of course, Apology Man knows that there are ways to get out of it, so he has setups to corner you out of the ways you're trying to get out of it.
But it's more of a mix-up now than just
a guaranteed block.
Yeah.
And with characters that don't have an escape like Virgil or like I don't know, anyone without a double jump or
yeah, I was just about to say like Apology Man could be the player that you can just take out a bunch of the X Factor 3 Virgil reliant players, right? I mean,
yeah, it's just super oppressive, and like Phoenix teams just melt sometimes because even if you get away, like he has unblockable setups, Pop Dark Phoenix and stuff like that. Okay. So like, it's a hard team to play against. It's not the best team in the game, I don't think. It's just super good in tournaments because you just unblockable. Like you don't have to think that much if they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So it's super well. Takewa is another player.
Yes. Okay.
That I think people really need to look out for, and they aren't. He's a super erratic player, I guess. He's a Nova Task Virgil player, and he's crazy. Like he just does things, and he's super fast paced. He's always rushing you down and pressing something, and yeah, I think he's gonna overwhelm a lot of players. At HodoCon, he just was looking so well.
How do you feel about Taskmaster in that role?
As an assist character,
okay.
I think he's fairly strong, but not good at all. Like I don't know how to like. He's good as the assist, but like the TAC options are horrible.
Right. Okay.
THCs are pretty good, but other than that, like I don't know why you wouldn't just use Doom. Like to be honest, like as a Taskmaster player, like
yeah, I know. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Just use Doom. Like it gives you so much more options. But he has a very skilled Taskmaster, and he can turn on the patience when he needs to, and it just throws players off.
Okay.
Completely. Okay. Which is, I think, a virtue you need with Taskmaster, which I don't have. Hi, I'm Nasty is also another player, Captain America scroll player. He's exhibits like a really it's kind of safe, but at the same time, you'll just do some gimmicks with Captain America. Because Captain America's not the best character. He needs some gimmicks.
Right, yeah. And hard reads, right? Captain America's a very hard read kind of character.
Yeah, and you get super hard punishes, and he makes you play his game most of the time, even if you're one of the best characters in the game. Like, Magneto sometimes has to calm down if there's a Captain America.
Right, okay.
Because you could just barrel through him and punish and assist.
Right.
But yeah, I think he's going to place pretty well. He's been doing well at the majors he's been going to.
Okay.
Placing top 8 at NorCal Regionals, I believe. No, he got 9th. Whoops. Whatever. Anyways, SoCal, the second not best region. They suck. Clockwork came off of Curly Mustache looking very good. He did not win.
Right.
But I think he's the scariest player at EVO.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's the strongest player going into EVO just because no one wants to play him. I never heard someone like, yeah, I want to play Clockwork. Like, it's just the point Virgil is such a snowball, and it's so easy to just lose to it. Like you just get hit by a random Hellbreaker, you just get mixed up, and then you just lose a character, and then you have to deal with that incredibly oppressive mix-up game for the second character.
And then he took SCR Prelude recently as well. So
yes,
yeah.
And Chris G was the quoted as saying like he's scared of Clockwork. That's the only player that doesn't play.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So look out for him. Of course, everyone loves Clockwork. Who doesn't love Clockwork?
Indeed.
Chris G, of course, just won Curly, and he's the only player that's considered a quote-unquote god that has not won an EVO championship.
Right.
So he's probably super hungry for that win, just to say he won it. It's just an accomplishment to him.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't done it, and
he put out some tweets after that were like pretty like hungry sounding tweets. You know what I mean? Like he sounded like he really had a lot of confidence going into EVO.
Right.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna do really well, but of course he does well almost every year. It's just like the last couple matches just doesn't clutch it out. And he's the Morgan god, the Morgan missile god.
Right. He basically created that whole strategy. So,
yeah, he's basically the inventor of most of the neutral for that and the patterns, and it's just such a hard team to play against. And if you don't have specific like knowledge of the matchup, then you're just gonna automatically lose. Like it's just so dominant.
It's kind of similar to like Apology Man's team. It's like a great tournament team because you can just do your thing, and if the opponent doesn't know how to fight it, you can kind of sleepwalk through the first few victories that way, right?
Yeah, and it's just the fact that even if they know what's going to happen, sometimes they just have to accept it. Like, you know, it's like, I just lost this character, you know, even though I'm at 50% health, like, and I'm full health.
Yeah.
But yeah, Justin Wong, of course, you know, what more can I say? That dude's a beast. He's the reigning champion.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
He plays a very flowchart team, in my opinion, but it's super good.
Yeah.
Do you really think it is super good, or just how he plays it?
I do think it's good because Storm's options off of TAC and DHC options make it so that team is good, because you can DHC or DHC from Storm into Wolverine for like almost an unblockable mix-up, I think, because you're just locked down for so long, and he gets the Berserker charge and then just go in.
Yeah, you've even seen some situations where Justin can combo with the DHC or like combo with the Hailstorm, but instead he does it later, so the guy gets up into the Hailstorm DHC.
Yeah, and so that's just super good. And then the damage on the double super when he has 2 bars.
X-Men!
Yeah, because Storm obviously does a lot of damage, but people don't know Wolverine does, like, I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd most damage when it's max scaled on his supers.
Oh, really?
So it's just a fuck ton of damage. He just cranks it out. So like, it's kind of it's a great tournament team because you just hit them, and if you have 2 bars, press 2 buttons, boom, they're dead. Like,
Okay.
Of course, Cloud. People put him in contention for 4th best player in the world.
Okay.
Oh, really?
He's doing super well at
actually,
that.
Good question. You didn't mention Flocker when we talked about the South.
I did not.
Okay.
Flocker did get top 8 at CEO. He was looking pretty good, but at final round he was looking pretty bad, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what place he got.
Okay.
I don't think he made out of pools. Yeah.
He was considered a god at one point in time, right? But I guess it's just not the case anymore.
Yeah, after getting blown up by a Phoenix Wright player at final round, I think people kind of like rethought that.
Interesting. Okay.
But he did place well at CEO.
Right.
And we'll see if he, he has one in Evo.
Of course,
right.
We'll see if he brings it to Evo. I don't know how much drive he has after winning the Evo. You know, sometimes you win something, you're like, man, I don't need to win it again.
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Hopefully he does well. I like the guy. But,
Okay.
I did not put him on the list.
Okay.
Paradigm has placed super well in like everything he's ever gone to, and he always is up there. And I don't know if he's made a top 8 at Evo.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, but he's made top 8 on almost every major he's gone to,
right,
and almost everything he's been to. So, I don't know why he wouldn't do well at Evo, because he is such a variety of teams. They're just so different.
Right.
He plays Haggard, Dorm, Doom,
right,
and then he has the Haggard, Arthur,
Rocket
Raccoon, team, and so like that's such a dichotomy that you have to deal with as a player. That's just a little odd to go against. Japan's coming out in force. We have VX Dante, GX, and Aibgen, and then we have the surprise hit of final round Takumi, who I think is going to do super well.
Okay. Is it Aibgen or is it Aibgen?
I have no idea.
It's Aibgen. Yeah.
Okay.
Aibgen. Abe. Good old Abe.
Well, do you think that any of the players from Japan have a realistic shot at winning?
Yes. I think...
At winning the whole thing?
At winning the whole thing? Yeah. Fuck no. But getting top 8? Sure. I think Takumi might be the first Japanese player to break a top 8.
Okay.
I think he did super well at final round, and he was doing really great against great players.
Okay.
So I think he's the best chance Japan's got.
What about Nemo? Is he still playing, or is he concentrating on Street Fighter now?
From what I've heard, he's been concentrating on Street Fighter.
Okay.
I think he is entered, but I don't know if he's full force behind.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Street Fighter's got the pop bonus.
Right. Sure. Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
Outside of Mexico, we have Wolf and Fruitsy, and I don't know. I couldn't find some of the other players I know from Mexico in the brackets. I don't know if they changed their names or they're stuck in there.
Right.
I don't know. Wolf and Fruitsy both got new sponsors.
Oh,
interesting.
Nice.
So they're coming out, and Wolf, of course, the Hager player, also the translator for the Japanese. If you guys didn't know.
Oh,
I didn't.
Okay.
He's very good. He beat Yipes at one of the Evos.
Okay.
So he has some notches under his belt. Fruitsy, of course, making top 8 with Taekwa the year of Mexico.
Right.
The MODOK player, and of course, he falls into the category. We're going to be seeing more probably character variety, I think, in top 32.
So wait, Taekwa, you mentioned was in NorCal now, or
yeah, he's been living in NorCal for a while.
Okay.
He moved a couple of years ago, or a year ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And super international player, of course, King Blue River. I don't know what category to put him in.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, do you think he has a shot at it?
He always does well, but he cracks under pressure super easily. I think his mental game is very weak compared to a lot of players, and I think that's his, weakness. His execution's great. I think his, his decision-making is pretty great.
Right.
Yeah.
But his mental game just sometimes defeats him.
Yeah.
And, at Evo, it's so hard to stay composed sometimes. I played on that stage, and it's daunting.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So, I hope he does well. I hope he gets over it. But, that's just going to be a factor that he has to look out for, I think.
Okay.
Well, we're starting to run out of time on this, but
Yes.
anybody else to bring up or any other storylines to bring up?
There's, I don't know.
Okay.
That's all I really had planned for. And I have some, death pools that I found, but...
any shout out, the 1 or 2 death pools that you know?
So there's the Nemo, Taekwa, Marvello, Cole, Ludovic pool, which is I-123.
Dang.
That is crazy, because there's probably 3 or 4 players that can get out of pools automatically in these other pools,
Right.
and they're all in the same pool.
Right, wow.
And then there's a Jeopardy, Marlin Pie, Marvisto, Shadow Rusher team pool.
Okay.
So, and I think that's it for, super crazy. Okay. There's an Anabolic, Kyle P, Priest, Ray pool as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, if you were a betting man right now, would you expect someone like Justin to repeat, or do you think it's time finally for Chris G to win one? Where do you stand on this?
It's always so hard to pick a winner of Evo. So I think every year, if you say Justin, it's just hard.
Yeah.
I would probably say though that right now Justin is the best player in the world.
Okay.
So he has the most realistic shot. That being said, Chris G definitely has a chance.
Okay.
Cool.
And both these players definitely have a chance. I'm not even making top 8. It's that crazy. They could run into 2 killers and just lose.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to shout out?
No.
No, not even your Twitter at Honzogonzo.
No, don't follow me.
Producing stats for Street Fighter events, and stuff like that. So.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. All right.
Thanks,
Cool.
Dude. We'll see you in Vegas.
All right.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right.
Peace.
All right. So we are going to take another break, and coming up next, we are going to have Persona. We'll have Brkrdave coming on to help us out, and he's also going to help us out with some of the Anime Evo side tournaments.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, all right.
Okay, be back in a bit.